I stood in the tiny kitchen, my hands deep in soapy water, scrubbing plates while my stepsister, Lila, twirled in a wedding dress I'd never afford. Outside, a helicopter's roar shook the air. The man stepping out was about to flip my world upside down. He called me his wife. Stick with me. This tale will leave you speechless. I'm Clara, and this is the day my life changed forever. Let me take you back to understand how I ended up here, drowning in dishes while hope flickered in my heart. 3 years ago, my dad passed, leaving me with debts and a stepfamily who saw me as a burden. My stepmom, Margaret, ruled our small Willow Creek home with an iron fist. Lila, her daughter, acted like I didn't exist unless she needed chores done. I worked 2 jobs, dragging myself home to more tasks. But I had a secret tucked in a dusty box under my bed, a marriage certificate. It held my name and James Parker's, a man I hadn't seen in years, but who kept my dreams alive. James and I met in college, sparks flying like a summer storm. He was kind, driven, with eyes that saw my soul. We fell hard, marrying in a quiet courthouse, promising a grand celebration later. But his tech dreams took him abroad. He swore he'd return for me once his company stood strong. 4 years of silence followed. Had he forgotten me? My stepfamily's cruelty grew, yet I clung to that certificate, praying James still loved me, even as doubt gnawed at my heart. Lila's engagement to a rich doctor, Tom, set our house ablaze with plans. Margaret threw herself into crafting a lavish wedding, 200 guests, roses everywhere, a band playing under starry skies. Guess who got stuck with kitchen duty? Me, always me. Clara, you're so reliable. Margaret smirked, her words sharp as knives. Lila laughed. You'll see it all from the sink, Clara, almost like a guest. Their words burned, but I swallowed my pain. Where else could I go? Weeks before the wedding, I slaved away, polishing silver, scrubbing floors, helping caterers. Lila got pampered with spa days while I planned menus. The decorations were a dream: golden streamers, white lilies, crystal vases sparkling like stars. I'd once imagined such beauty for my own wedding. At night, I held my marriage certificate, tears falling. Had James built a new life without me? Still, a tiny voice inside whispered, "Hold on, Clara. Just a little longer." Wedding day dawned bright. The Willow Creek yard transformed into a fairy tale. Guests arrived in fancy cars, their clothes screaming wealth. By 6 a.m., I was chopping vegetables, arranging trays, my hands already aching. Through the window, I saw Lila in her flowing gown, veil glittering like diamonds. I pictured myself in her place, walking to James, my heart soaring. But Margaret's voice snapped me back. "Clara, move! The trays aren't out." Reality stung like a slap. The ceremony began, and I rushed between the kitchen and guests, invisible to them. Lila floated down the aisle, radiant. I served champagne, dodging rude glances. Then disaster struck. I tripped over a child, and a tray of costly wine crashed to the ground. Glass shattered, silencing the crowd. Margaret's face twisted with rage. "Clara, that was $600 worth of wine," she screamed. My cheeks burned as every eye turned to me, judging, mocking. Shame swallowed me whole. Margaret demanded I apologize to all 200 guests. My voice shook as I stood before them. "I'm sorry for the wine, for ruining this moment." Whispers filled the air. Lila looked horrified. I fled to the kitchen, tears stinging and scrubbed dishes, watching the party glow outside. My heart ached, remembering James's promise of a life together. If this story grabs you, hit that subscribe button for Tears and Traps for more heart-tugging tales. The night wasn't over, and neither was my story. Lost in memories of James, our courthouse vows, dancing in our tiny apartment, I barely heard my phone ring. An unknown number. "Clara Parker?" A crisp voice asked. "Are you at 89 Oak Lane?" Confused, I confirmed. "Someone's coming for you," they said, then hung up. My heart raced. Who knew I was here? I pushed the fear aside, hands raw from soap, and kept washing. Outside, Lila danced with Tom, the party alive. Then a sound stopped everything, a helicopter's roar. The helicopter landed in the yard, guests scattering, Margaret fuming. A man stepped out, tall, in a sharp blue suit, his presence commanding. My heart stopped. It was James. Older, polished, but those eyes were unmistakable. My hands shook. A plate sank into the suds. Margaret stormed over. "This is a private event," she snapped. James's voice cut through, calm but firm. "I'm here for my wife, Clara Parker." The words hit like thunder, silencing the crowd. "Clara? Married?" Margaret stammered, her face pale. Guests gasped, staring at me. I stepped outside, legs trembling, meeting James's gaze. His smile warmed my soul, just like years ago. "Clara," he said softly, and my heart melted. Margaret blocked us. "This is nonsense. Clara's just the help." I found my voice. "It's true. James is my husband." The crowd buzzed. Lila's jaw dropped. For once, I wasn't invisible. My truth was out, shining bright. James faced the crowd, his voice steady. 4 years ago, I left to build my company abroad. Clara believed in me when no one did. I lost contact after her dad died, but I never stopped searching. He showed Margaret his phone. "My company, Parker Innovations, is worth $4 billion. Clara's my partner in every way." Margaret staggered, realizing she'd treated a billionaire's wife like a servant. Lila stared, speechless. My heart swelled with pride and pain. James pulled out a velvet box, kneeling. "Clara, I couldn't give you the wedding we dreamed of then, but I can now. Will you stay with me?" Tears fell as I nodded. "Yes!" The crowd cheered, not for Lila, but for us. He slid a dazzling ring onto my finger, more beautiful than my wildest dreams. Margaret tried to smile. "Clara was so helpful," she lied. James's eyes narrowed. "Helpful? I found my wife washing your dishes." His words cut deep. James took my hand. "You don't have to come now, Clara, but you'll never scrub another dish unless you want to." I looked back at Margaret's shock, Lila's envy, the guests' awe. "I'm ready," I said, my voice strong. We walked to the helicopter, the crowd parting. As we lifted off, I saw the wedding fade below, Margaret slumping, Lila staring up. I wasn't the help anymore. I was Clara Parker, soaring to a new life with the man who never forgot me. In the helicopter, James squeezed my hand. "I have so much to explain. Why I couldn't call. How I built our future." I smiled through tears. "We have time now." For the first time in years, I felt free, loved, seen. Don't miss more stories like mine. Subscribe to Tears and Traps for tales of triumph. Share this with someone who needs hope. Sometimes those who hurt you most get the biggest shock. What would you do in my shoes? Let's fly into a brighter tomorrow.